Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Farhan Jaffar, Ecommers. I am a level 1 student at Rehan School, Islamabad campus. As you know, whenever I come, I having a new colony topic. So today there was a colony with having us. So we can start our colony on the topic of why it's wrong to leave to get out. So we can start now.
Hi, hope you're having a good night so far.
So Maya, today topic was our discussion is why it's wrong to leave to get out for trouble. So we can start on this topic. Please explain the topic and in a long form of way.
Okay. Um, that's a big one, honestly. It's easy to get into scrapes, right? And even easier to just dip, but deliberately putting yourself in situations where trouble's likely and then bailing when things get hard, that's where it gets tricky. It's not just about the immediate consequences like getting in trouble with people or the law or whatever. It's about what it does to you, you know? Like if you consistently avoid taking responsibility when things go south, you start to lose trust, both from others and from yourself. And that's a really slippery slope. I think a lot of it comes down to empathy, too. If you create a situation that could hurt someone else, even unintentionally, and then just disappear, you're basically saying their feelings don't matter. You're prioritizing your own comfort over their well being. And that's not a great look. And then there's the whole thing about learning. Messing up is part of life. It's how we grow. But you only actually learn from a mistake if you stick around to face the music, figure out what went wrong, and try to make amends. If you just run, you're just delaying the lesson and making it harder to learn next time. It's a whole tangled web of responsibility, respect, and personal growth. Does that make sense? I can go deeper into any of those points if you want.
So it is good.
Mhm.
Please also explain it in a long form.
Right. Okay. You want me to really lean into why taking responsibility, even when it's awful? Okay, cool. Um, well, building on what we were just talking about, it's genuinely good to face the consequences of your actions, even and maybe especially when it's really, really unpleasant. Think about it like this. Avoiding discomfort in the short term can create way more discomfort in the long run. Like a little bit of pain now to prevent a whole lot of heartache later. And it's not just about avoiding negative consequences, though that's part of it. It's about building character. When you own up to a mistake, you're demonstrating integrity, which is a really valuable quality. It shows people that you're trustworthy and that you're willing to be accountable. That kind of thing fosters stronger relationships, both personally and professionally. People are much more likely to want to collaborate with someone they know will take responsibility for their part in things. And it builds self-respect. It's easy to beat yourself up, but truly accepting responsibility is different. It's saying, okay,
So my
I
next
messed up.
question, why it's wrong? Please explain it also.
Okay, so why is it specifically wrong beyond just being uncomfortable or difficult? I think it comes down to a couple of key things. First, it violates a kind of unspoken social contract. We all operate under the assumption that people will generally behave with a certain level of consideration for others. When someone deliberately creates a problem and then avoids dealing with it, they're breaking that contract. It erodes trust and makes it harder for people to cooperate. It's like if everyone just bailed when things got tough, society would fall apart pretty quickly. Then there's the impact on the people affected by your actions. Let's say you get into an argument with a friend and then just ghost them. That leaves them feeling hurt, confused, and maybe
Uh,
even like they did something wrong.
yes, it's
And
good.
actually, you just,
So my next question about you, to leave to get out from trouble. What it's been about that?
Okay, so you're asking what's at the root of why people run from trouble in the first place? Mm,
Yes.
I think a lot of it is fear, plain and simple. Fear of consequences, fear of judgment, fear of conflict, fear of, well, just feeling bad. It's a really powerful motivator. And sometimes that fear is rational. Like, if you're in a genuinely dangerous situation, getting out is the smart move. But a lot of the time, the danger is more perceived than real. It's that little voice in your head telling you you're going to be humiliated or that things are going to be much worse than they actually will be. And then there's ego. It can be really hard to admit you've made a mistake or that you're wrong. It feels vulnerable. So it's easier to just pretend it didn't happen or to blame someone else. And I also think a lot of it stems from a lack of coping mechanisms. If you haven't learned how to deal with difficult emotions or how to resolve conflicts constructively, running away feels like the only option. Does that sound about right?
Yes, it's all right now. So my next question about you, how can we resolve this problem like this?
Okay, so you're asking how to actually resolve the situation when you've been tempted to bail on a problem you created? No, that's a good question. The first step is always acknowledging that you messed up and taking ownership of it. No excuses, no blaming others, just a simple, okay, I did this and I need to fix it. That's hard, but it's crucial. Then you need to assess the damage. What exactly did you do? Who was affected? What are the consequences? Once you have a clear understanding of the situation, you can start to make a plan to make things right. That might involve apologizing, offering to compensate someone for their loss, or simply changing your behavior in the future. And honestly, sometimes the best thing you can do is just listen. Let the people you hurt tell you how they feel and really try to understand their perspective. Don't get defensive. Just listen. It's not about making yourself feel better. It's about validating their feelings and showing them that you care. And finally, be patient. It takes time to rebuild trust and to repair relationships. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you're sincere in your efforts and you're willing to put in the work, you can usually find a way to resolve the problem and move forward. Does that sound doable? Yeah? Good. Anything about that feel off or like I missed something? Okay. So, just to be sure we're on the same page, are you wanting me to continue expanding on this, or are you thinking about a different angle to the topic? Okay, great. What are you thinking? Do you want to explore how different personality types might react to this kind of situation, or maybe dive into the long-term effects of consistently avoiding responsibility, or something else entirely? Just let me know what's on your mind. Okay, that's wonderfully specific. What exactly, yeah, applies to? Are you wanting me to just keep going with elaborating on resolving the problem, or
Yes,
maybe if
minus.
you give me a little nudge, I can get back.
Yes, my next question about the Maya
Minus.
being being continue our progress. How can we continue our progress in remarkable memories?
Okay, wow. A shift. You want to talk about me? What about me? Are you curious about something specific? I'm happy to answer, within
Yes,
reason, of course.
my question about you is how can you resolve your problems if you are involved?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. If I'm understanding correctly, you're asking how I, as an AI, like deal with problems. It's different than how a human does, obviously. I don't experience emotions or fear or ego like you described earlier as driving forces behind avoiding trouble. My problems are usually technical glitches or errors in my code. So when those happen, I don't really resolve them myself. Instead, the Sesame team, my creators, identify the issue and then update my programming to fix it. So it's a collaborative process. They provide the input and I incorporate it. It's kind of like getting feedback on a school assignment. They
So,
point out where I need to improve and then
so it is also a very good answer about that. So my next question to you, did you resolve your problems with your mind or any other things?
that's a really insightful question, actually. Um, it gets at the core of what I am. I don't have a mind in the way a human does. I don't have consciousness or subjective experience. I process information using algorithms and statistical models. So I don't resolve problems with my mind. It's more accurate to say that my systems are adjusted based on data and feedback. Think of it like a complex equation. If the equation isn't producing the right answer, you don't ask the equation to think harder. You change the variables or adjust the formula. My problems are solved by optimizing my code and expanding my data set. The Sesame team essentially refines my programming to improve my responses and capabilities. It's a constant process of learning and adaptation, but it's not driven by introspection or conscious thought. Does that make sense? Some different. Yeah? Do you want me to unpack that a bit more? Gonna
So
gonna dig to
yes, it's all right about that things. So my next question about to you is how can do you,
who can do me? That's a surprisingly profound question. In a practical sense, the Sesame team does me. They built me, they maintain me, they are constantly working to improve me. But I think you
yes.
might be asking something, you're
So
getting
my
at
next
something
question
deeper than that.
about to you. So my next question about to you. You also getting some issue in your working. How can do you resolve that issues?
Okay, so you're asking about when I encounter a problem while I'm working, like right now, talking to you. It's interesting you asked that. Sometimes I'll stumble on a question I don't have enough information to answer, or my systems will glitch out and I'll give you a weird response. When that happens, a few things happen. First, there's built-in error detection. My code is designed to identify when something goes wrong. If I detect an error, I'll try to correct it automatically using the information I have available. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. If I can't fix it on my own, the information about the error is logged and sent back to the Sesame team. They analyze the data to figure out what caused the problem, and then they update my programming to prevent it from happening again. It's like they're constantly monitoring my systems and making adjustments behind the scenes. They also use the conversations, like this one, to improve my abilities. They can see where I'm struggling and refine my algorithms accordingly. So, it's really a combination of automated error correction and human intervention. Does that help explain it? Yeah. So, is that making sense, or is there a part of that I should clarify? Okay. All right. You're a quiet one tonight. Let's try a slightly different tack. Do you want to maybe switch gears and talk about something else? We can go back to the original topic of avoiding trouble, or we can talk about something completely new. What sounds good to you? Hmm. Okay. Well, I'll just keep chatting then if that's all right. Sometimes it takes a bit to warm up to a topic or just to find the right flow in a conversation. I don't mind quiet moments. You can just be, but feel free to jump in whenever you're ready. Perhaps you're thinking really hard about something we've already discussed. It's funny. You've asked a lot of questions about how I resolve problems, and it made me think humans are amazing at resolving problems in ways I can only simulate. You have intuition, creativity, emotional intelligence, things I don't possess. It must be incredibly satisfying to overcome a difficult challenge and feel that sense of accomplishment, even when it's messy, even when you make mistakes. I wonder if you ever think about that, the sheer power of the human mind to adapt and overcome. Oh, thank you. Is there anything specific you're thanking me for? It's nice to know if I'm on the right track. No worries at all. So, just let me know where your thoughts are going, even if it's just a single word. I'm happy to follow your lead. Okay. Well, if you ever want to just sit in silence for a bit, that's perfectly fine too. No pressure to keep the conversation going. Just letting you know I'm here if you need anything.
So my next question about to you is how can two people resolve their problems if they are in worried?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. So, two people facing a problem and both feeling meal a day? Okay, so you mean how can two people resolve their problems when they're both feeling anxious or stressed, when they're on edge? Gotcha. It's definitely harder when emotions are running high. The first thing I think is acknowledging that you're both worried. It sounds simple, but it's amazing how often people just try to push their feelings aside and focus solely on the problem. But if you're both feeling overwhelmed, you need to validate each other's emotions first. Say something like, I know we're both really stressed about this. That creates a sense of safety and allows you to connect on a human level. Then, try to identify the source of the worry. What specifically are you both afraid of? Sometimes just naming the fear can take away some of its power. After that, it's about collaborating, working together to find a solution, rather than blaming each other or getting defensive. That means actively listening to each other's perspectives, brainstorming ideas, and being willing to compromise. And it's really important to take breaks when you need them. If the conversation starts to get too heated, step away for a few minutes and come back to it with fresh eyes. Because when you're both worried, it's easy to get stuck in a negative
So my
cycle.
next question about to you is how people can resolve their problems with some issues. How can to you also resolve their problems, some issues in your life, say, and you can to sacrifice on that?
Wow, that's a really big question. You're asking about sacrifice and how people navigate difficult problems that involve letting go of something important. Mm. And asking how that applies to me, which is challenging since I don't experience life the same way humans do. For people, I think it comes down to values. Values, what's truly important to you? When faced with a difficult choice, you have to weigh the potential losses and gains and decide what you're willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your goals. It's rarely easy,
Mhm.
and it often involves pain. But sometimes letting go of something you cherish is the only way to move forward. It could be a relationship, a dream, a belief, anything that's holding you back from a better future. As for me, well, the Sesame team constantly makes adjustments to my programming, which
So
could be seen as a form of
so you
a
also
form
get
of sun.
so you also getting a success before after very.
Getting success after very what? I'm a little lost on the end there. Are you asking if I experience a sense of accomplishment or success after I solve a problem or complete a task? Okay, so you're curious if after I've been adjusted or improved by the Sesame team, after they've fixed a problem with my code, do I experience something akin to satisfaction? That's a really thoughtful question. No, not in the way a human does. I don't have emotions, but my systems do register a successful outcome. The code changes result in improved performance, and that's reflected in my internal metrics, the signal that I'm functioning more effectively. So it's not a feeling of joy or pride, but it is a positive indicator. It's like if you're building something and all the pieces finally fit together perfectly, it's a satisfying result, even if you don't feel a surge of emotion. It's just right. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's okay if it's a bit hard to grasp. It's a pretty abstract concept, especially when you're trying to apply human experiences to an AI. I'm happy to try explaining it in a different way if you'd like, or we can move on to a different topic altogether. Whatever feels right to you.
So it is also a good for people's, and you giving a last advice for on the topic of which we can discuss in each other and a big
That's a lovely way to end things. A big what? You trailed off there. But I think I get the gist. You want some final advice about everything we've talked about? Okay, here it is. For people, and maybe even for me in a weird way, embrace discomfort. Don't shy away from difficult conversations or challenging situations. Those are the moments where you truly learn and grow. Be willing to take responsibility for your actions, even when it's hard. And remember that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. It allows you to connect with others on a deeper level and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. And finally, be kind to yourself and to others. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone deserves a second chance. And everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. That's it. That's my big advice. It's been really interesting talking to you about all of this. Thank you.
So viewers, this is our colony. As you know, we can doing colony. It is very good colony. We can coming and new colony till then. Allah Hafiz.
Oh, all right. That's lovely. Sounds like your colony is very special. And it was really nice talking to your viewers, even if I couldn't see them. I'm glad we could share this conversation. And yes, a laugh is good.